Yes, guys, how you all doing? Tottenham 2, Brentford nil. Frank gets it right. Xavi runs the show. Finally, finally, a home win for us fans. And ain't it nice, actually, to come on and talk about a victory and a good performance. At last, guys, please smash the like button, subscribe if you're new here. Yeah, it's great. It's great to win. Yeah, look, it's been a horrible time. Does it mean everything's solved? Everything's fixed? I fully behind Frank. No, it doesn't. But let's talk about that match today because there was some really good stuff, and what I want to talk about, and especially Xavi's performance was he was the key guy for me. He was the difference maker. 100% was what a performance from him, a goal and an assist. But we'll get to him it soon. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the midfield today, likes of Gray and Bentancur as well, alongside Xavi. And then I'm going to talk about how we won that game, and the setup was different from what we've been seeing so far under Thomas Frank. Maybe he's finally getting it now. Maybe he's starting to understand that you know this is how Spurs need to play moving forward. And look, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's start off with Archie Gray's performance today. Now, um, if you kind of look at his stats there, which I'm going to put up on the screen, his passing accuracy was 32 out of 34, 94% possession accuracy, opposition half 18 out of 20, 90%. His own half was 14 out of 14, 100%, and he had one at long ball successful out of three. So, what guys, what did you make of his performance? You can see the heat map there, getting about the pitch. He kind of acted like, it's a bit of a interesting way of calling him, like a metronome. Basically, he kept the ball moving. He has really good security of the ball, didn't lose possession in dangerous areas, and showed a real maturity of performance today. And as I said, he didn't force any crazy passes, no panicky touches. And look, the high kind of opposition half accuracy points towards good positioning between the lines. And this is kind of like a classic controller performance. And look, he didn't break Brentford open. He didn't kind of create chances. This wasn't like a progressive vertical performance. Instead, it was like a kind of stabilizer in the system sort of thing. And look, his defensive work was solid. A few interventions, nothing spectacular or like high impact. He wasn't going in, flying in with challenges. He wasn't involved in duels or ball winning, but he just held the structure of the side and prevented transitions. And he did very well, didn't he, guys? You've got to be honest, he did very well. So good ball retention. He was calm in tight areas in midfield, kept Spurs ticking, and he kind of supported Xavi, Bentancur by covering those spaces. And yeah, it was good. It was a really good performance from him. I mean, it wasn't spectacular. We haven't seen a lot of him this season, but look, he did his job well, and it helped the side have that base to kind of push forward. Um, so look, yeah, it's clear there by his performance. It was a really good performance from him. And look, you obviously got to look at the opposition, which you'll come to in a little bit later. And then let's talk about Bentancur. He was everywhere today. Very controlled performance. He had like heavy, if you look at his heat map, he had heavy presence across the midfield third, his movement into both half spaces, support runs towards the left channel, deep positioning during build up, covering transitions really well. And you could see him kind of sitting in front of those two centre backs there. And it was some really intelligent positioning today, and he was constantly available for the ball. and he was a great link, in that midfield, working alongside Gray and Xavi. And but he had some good stats. If you look in his passing, non-ball work, opposition half. So I mean, total kind of accurate post passes were 22 out of 26, 85% accuracy. Opposition half 12 out of 16, 75% accuracy. Own half 10 out of 10, 100% accuracy. And look, yeah, what does this performance kind of tell us today? Well, it's about, it's a strong, again, it's a bit similar to Gray, like that kind of strong pass security in deeper areas, more risky in the opposition half. Expected for, a midfielder trying to push the game. He didn't create chances or break the lines consistently, and there wasn't a lot of kind of attacking output. But this whole system that Frank set up today was around Xavi Simons as the main progressive outlet, and kind of Bentancur role was kind of like another connector alongside Gray. So look, the defensive contributions was his strongest area today. Good dual involvement, strong ball winging presence, and he was effective in pressing and in transitional cover. And yeah, it was just really solid from him today, and he kind of acted like a stabilizer before kind of Paulinho came on around, what was it, 65 minutes, I think. So look, he kind of really helped Gray today in the team. He did his experience, covered Simons, um, and he kind of prevented Brentford from kind of gaining central progression. And yeah, it was a very good performance from him. And look, and then they bring on Paulinho, who was kind of like the closer, and and Bentancur, he was the controller. Him and Gray there. So look, good performances for them. But let's go and talk about the main guy of the afternoon. And I don't think many of us was expecting this sort of performance. Where did it come from? He kind of not really looked that great. There's been a few flashes. It was a good game in the Champions League against Copenhagen, but he was great today. 1 goal, 1 assist, and yeah, he was drifting everywhere. You look at his heat map, such involvement in the game, such an influence in the game, and it was really probably one of it was his most complete performance in a Spurs shirt. And yeah, it's just his kind of like his creativity, his ball carrying, final third quality, and he had those match winning moments. And this is why we signed him, right? It's taken a while, but we are finally starting to see how he's kind of how he can make an impact in this side. Is that kind of attacking midfielder. And look, his heat map shows, and if you have a look at it, like there's kind of heavy activity between the lines, constant presence in the right half space, dropping deep to build up play, driving into the box repeatedly, wide rotations to overload Brentford's left side. And this is what we've been looking for, right? Like a kind of a high influence creator in midfield who dictates games. And look, and this is another interesting thing, kind of his final third impact and the XA, which I'll talk a little bit about shortly, is 0.6, which is supposed to be really, really good. Big chance created 1, key passes 1, but it was the quality of the chance which was huge. And obviously he scored as well. So like Simons kind of directly won that game for Spurs, and I think he was probably the biggest reason, why we won that game. His quality and that assist shows real vision, and the weight of the pass was just perfect. The goal shows composure and attacking instincts to pick the ball up and run at the Brentford's midfield, and he went all the way through and he finished it himself. And as I said, the XA 0.6 is a really good level, and it's kind of like a lot of the top attacking midfielders in world football. That's the sort of kind of statistics that they play at, and he was just constantly putting that Brentford defence under pressure. And we go and have a look at some of his stats. His accurate passings, 36 out of 42, 86 percentage. Opposition half, 26 out of 30, 87%. Own half was 10 out of 12, 83%. Long balls as well with 2 out of 3, which was good as well. So what does this all mean? Like, it was high volume, it was high efficiency, constantly finding pockets and breaking lines, good progression from deep and influence high up, intelligent ball retention under pressure, switches of play were on point, and he was just, I don't know, he was like I would say, like the creative heartbeat of the side. And it's just his dribbling, his ball carrying was excellent. And yeah, he really set the tempo of the match. And what a performance from him. Defensive work rate, obviously, he did get back a bit, and he did try and win some balls back, but that wasn't his role today. He was the creator of the team, and it was the likes of kind of Bentancur and Grey in the defence, kind of keeping that side of the game working, and kept Spurs strong defensively throughout the match. And he was the best player on the pitch by a mile, wasn't he today? What a performance there. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the um the X the XA, just to kind of help you understand what it really all means. So that, if we're looking at that assist, it was the pass Simmons played, and it should result in a goal 60% of the time. And this is not a normal assist. This is a golden chance, the kind of elite creators produce. Like, most assists in the Premier League are like 0.05 to 0.15 XA, and Simmons' chance was 4 to 10 times more dangerous than the typical assists. And this is the difference. Like, a simple pass, or a long shot. This was a genuine defense breaking high quality chance, and Simmons produced. Well, it was just a really good goal, wasn't it? Really, really good goal. So look, guys, what did you think of his performance today? Am I kind of picking it up too much? But after watching it and then kind of looking into the kind of the stats and everything around his performance, it was really, really good. Very, very good performance, and this is what I hope we'll see, for Spurs moving forward. And I look at the opposition today, and Brentford, they have an all-four away record. Um, and I look at their central midfielders. Damsgaard's a good player, I think. Henderson, obviously very experienced, and the other guy as well in midfield, who plays for them as well, is a very experienced player. But I just think Spurs will come up against better midfields than those three. They really will, and that'll be a test for this kind of not new midfield. Well, it kind of is in a way, isn't it? Like, I can't remember seeing those three play together this season, but they're kind of the instructions from the manager, how he set that team up. How will it fare against a better midfield? Who, look, we completely overwhelmed Brentford at times today, didn't we? And created a lot of chances. The XG was over 2. We had shots on target, many shots in goal. Could have scored more goals. Their keeper made some good saves. And look, it was so much better, wasn't it? Generally, it really was so much better. Now, let's talk about the kind of what was different today. What was different? What did Frank do? What was the approach? And I'd have a look at the average player positions, because this is really kind of helps you kind of see what Frank wanted to do today. And it was like kind of I would say Spurs, they played higher up the pitch. You can see those centre backs higher. You can see those full backs playing in the opposition's half. Um, Richarlison was dropping back a bit to help kind of hold up the ball, bring the midfielders forward, get Kudus in the game, Mawani in the game. And look, it was that kind of, I think it was that kind of aggressive defensive, playing up the pitch to keep the pressure on the opponent and compress the space. And it was a compact midfield. And what I liked about today was that there was so much more central build up, right? There was less kind of emphasis on the wide crosses or direct long balls. It was more controlled possession, triangles, and midfield overloads. And I'm like, this is what I've been saying for a lot of this season is that we need to play different. We need to play more creative. We need to get hold of the ball, have these combination plays across the midfield. And a lot of fans thought, well, we can't play like this. We ain't got the quality of player. But clearly we do. Yes, obviously you've got to take the opposition on board, Brentford, but they're still a good side. You know, they have got some good results this season, especially at home. They're a physical side, and I think just the way we kind of overloaded them in midfield, kind of overran them a bit, was great to see. And yeah, there's just so much positivity about this performance. Maybe I'm over positive right now, but you know I'm gonna big up a performance. I am, and you know I slate Spurs enough as it is, and so why not kind of just really delve into this and talk positively about it, because it was a hell of a lot better, and this is what we should have been doing kind of throughout the season. um, so look, I would say like the fullbacks, they did provide width, they did, but the kind of the midfield attack stayed narrower and more central, and as I said, we really dominated those central zones. Um, there was kind of controlled transitions and good possession. And as I said, like Richarlison was dropping in deep and helping to link the play, and he played pretty well today, Richarlison, and he got a goal as well. So look, it was just such a different. It was just more progressive. There's more structure. There's more ball playing in there. It wasn't just going direct. You know, spamming crosses all game, and it just clearly shows that this Spurs side can play a bit of football if instructed and set up right. Again, obviously, the opposition wasn't the best, and that's something we're going to look at kind of moving forward. So look, so you're probably thinking like, you know, did we win at home against Brentford because just Brentford are just not great on the road? You know, losing 6 out of 7 games on the road. Are you thinking it's due to Spurs? Is just they turned up today? The system was better, the tactics were better, the performances were better. I think a lot of this performance was down to how Frank set up the side. I think a lot of it's to do with Simmons and his influence on the game. There was a lot more team cohesion today. Everybody showed up really. I mean, we did drop off a bit when those substitutions were made. And if you look at the attacking momentum, you know, in the second half there, we kind of did drop off. Maybe that is linked to the substitutions, possibly. But everybody turned up today. Everybody wanted it. Yeah, there was commitment to the tackle. Defenders played well. I thought mocked up things. Really limited Brentford to not many chances, I would say. I think 3 chances. I think they had maybe one shot on target. Yeah, they didn't offer a lot, and we really shut their threat down. Um, did Brentford's poor home record help with the result? Yeah, I'm sure it did. But look, Spurs today, they created and they converted chances, um, because they played well, right? They did, and there was a defensive solidarity. There was creativity from midfield, attack, and turned the game decisively into Spurs' favour. That said, we needed that home boost, right? We needed to win at home, not winning since the beginning day of the season against, not yeah, it was the beginning day, yeah, against Burnley. But you know, obviously, we've obviously kind of thrown in Brentford, not great on the road. The game could have been tighter, right, if we played a better opposition. But on balance, I think you know a lot of praise needs to be given to Frank and the players today, and Spurs were worthy winners. And it was really down to a good system and players and our better players delivering in that system, and that's what it comes down to. So look, yeah, a lot of positive from the game today. It's great to come on here and talk about a positive performance. All I've been coming on here is kind of I've not been happy. I've been really unhappy and slating the performances. Really unhappy with the manager, players' performances, the whole system and tactics just not been good enough. And today was good. Look, there's part of me which is doesn't want to get too carried away, right? Because I'm still really doubtful over Frank, and up until today, I've not been happy at all, and it's just not been good enough. You know, I'm not going to go all over it again. I want to see this kind of way of playing moving forward. Should be the norm now. I want to see this most similar lineup as possible. Even players like Jed Spence played well today out playing as a left back. Um, I want to see that. I want to see Xavi in the side every week. I want to see that. And Mawani was more on the left, wasn't he, today? With Charleston was up top. I want to see this team now. I want to see it kind of keep that team. I get it. When there's a lot of games, we may have to make a few changes, but long as you keep those most important players in that side, and yeah, we got to play this way now. We do 100%. It gives us such a better chance to win football matches, create chances, get goals, win games. Yes, will that leave us a bit slightly open at the back? Yeah, maybe. But I'd rather Spurs approach games like this. We're not good enough to defend the whole game and play this too safe football. The days of Bentancur, Paulinho are finished. Gray's performance was good today, but it's a long way to go from him. One good performance at home against Brentford. He's still got a lot to prove. Um, guys, it's interesting stuff, isn't it? And it's shaking things up a bit. I guess as I said myself, not happy with Frank, and I wanted him gone after that Fulham defeat. I really had enough of him, and I just didn't think anything was going to get better. But then again, I did say like Brentford was a winnable game. It was just that our home record was shocking, which kind of gave me doubt. Um, Look, there's a lot to do. Frank's got a lot to prove still, and I'm not totally convinced. It's good that he can play a different way and more progressive, and it's good that he can do it, right? Because we've seen it, and this is what we need to see more of. And I think, and I'm a lot happier, and I'm sure many fans will be happier if this is the way forward when we're playing football. Yeah, yes, we need better players in multiple positions if we really, really want to push on. But it's a start, right, guys? It's a start. Moving forward now, we're in like touch and distance of European positions. I think someone said, well, we're only like 5 points from top four. It's mental, isn't it? And that so many teams are inconsistent still, up and down results again today in the Premier League. There's opportunities for Frank in this team if Frank can continue what we saw today, and maybe we can challenge for European positions after all. After though I thought we were kind of dropping back down that table and yeah, closer to the relegation places than the European places. Again, I have to be cautious because look, Brentford weren't great today. I need to play better teams than them and see how this kind of system gets on. Um, yeah, it's all to play for, I guess. Again, now gives us a little bit of a reset. It's given fans a little bit more hope that Frank can play a more attacking football and can get more out of this group of players. Yes, January is important. Yes, we need to sign better players if we really want to challenge the top sides of the league. But those teams in and around us, there's no reason why we can't now start putting on a bit of a run together, get a bit of consistency in results. Yes, we've got a point away to Newcastle. We win today. Champions League Tuesday, I think, it's a very winnable game. And then we go to Nottingham Forest, who got beaten today away to Everton. Why can't we go to Nottingham Forest and get a result now if we can play a bit more like this? It's going to be a hard game, of course. Completely different challenge going to Nottingham Forest at their home grounds, but we've got a good away record, and I just hope that this kind of team cohesion can continue, and it's just not like a flash in the pan job. Look, just makes it all a bit more interesting now, doesn't it? That this result and this performance today. And it just gives you a little bit of a lift. As I keep saying, a lot of work to do. I still need a lot of convincing by Frank. But look, it's good result, good performance. 3 points, back to winning ways at home. Fan base will be a lot happier, and relieves a bit of pressure on Frank, doesn't it? That win and that performance. And yeah, let's see what happens in the next week coming up. Guys, thank you for watching the video. Smash the like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. And as always, come on, you Spurs.